So good evening and welcome. Welcome to this evening where you're going to learn a lot more about our mission, values, and vision. Tonight, our goal is to introduce to you the plan and show you the process that we will use to execute it. By the end of the night, you should have a good sense of what all of this will look like educationally. But let me start by saying this. I actually really want to express my utter excitement for this moment. I believe that this work represents one of the most consequential moments for me as a leader. Why? What we've completed, what you're holding, is meaningful and authentic work that positively impacts kids. Leading the school through something like this really matters. So what have we done? We've made clear who we are, what we value, and where we're going. We are dreaming big about our future while staying rooted in our collective identity as a school. And we did it on one page. Think about it. I know when we started and they said, we're going to have mission, values, and vision on one page, I said, no way. But the way in which we had to really think about each and every word was a critical part of the process, and all of that time paid off. We got to dream big, but we had to step carefully. And what I will tell you is that you will see immediate positive impact from the words in front of you. In fact, it's already begun, and candidly, it's working really, really well. So let me remind you how we got here. What you're looking at are the last two strategic plans of the Greenville School, one from 2004 and the next from 2014. The 2014 strategic plan was adopted right before I started working at the Greenville School in 2015. The success of that former plan is evident. It led to multiple capital improvements from the school. The plan called for redoing the kitchen, check. Coming up with a campus master plan, check. Consider putting in some generators, still working on it. And modernizing the upper school and library, check. From this plan, we started the New Gear campaign that led to the renovation of this building, the Island Center, the redo of the upper school building that is now known as the Bacon and Biondi building. What was remarkable about that work was that it was clearly focused on ensuring our spaces matched our learning needs. It started with an understanding that our library is central to our school and that the environment needs to be light and open, focusing on spaces for kids to read quietly, work together, and meet with teachers. We focused on creating flexible spaces like the one we're in right now that allowed students to gather in different forms and cohorts. By every measure, the last strategic plan was a success, but it had the markings of a very, very traditional plan. So last year, we embarked upon a whole new plan. With the board, we collaborated with the company GLP. And we, as you may remember, started with a full survey that all of you took to get a sense of where our community is and what they're thinking about. Next, we put together a strategic priorities committee. It started meeting about every other week. Then it started to go every week. And by the end, it was every day. And in some situations, it was a couple times a day, all to make sure that we got the words correct, which ultimately allowed the board to fully adopt the mission, values, and visions this last June. The end result is something that both talks about who we are and gives us aspirations for the future. Now, to me, what is remarkable about it is we could have chosen any of a number of different topics to focus on through the work. But the focus that we landed on was teaching and learning, community, and leadership. And to me, that inspires me. What do we have? We have a clear roadmap, a clear theory of growth, ways to measure progress, and the right fuel to sharpen the organization, we have a lot to be proud of and more we can do to be even better. So let's start with learning about the mission statement, or remembering the mission statement. I'm going to read it to you. At the Greenvale School, we inspire and challenge pre-nursery through 8th grade students to be their best, cultivating intellect, character, and confidence as a foundation for success. We are a joyful school community where every child is known. The changes from our former mission are clear. Instead of trying to capture everything that we might do in a series of paragraphs, we've captured the core of what we do in just 2 sentences. The mission truly reflects who we are and is something that resonates every moment of the day. The words that resonate with these words resonate with the teachers and are really the basis for all of the work when it comes to the values and the vision. So let's unpack some of the phrases together. Intellect. We are committed to educating your child so they have the requisite skills to move forward, ask good questions, and understand what helps them as learners. Character. We are committed to having children think about what it means to be a good citizen. It goes beyond just shaking a hand and into the fact that those small moments impact a people's ability to have a sense of belonging within the community. Confidence. Your child is set up to be successful here. That doesn't mean that they won't work hard or have times where it doesn't go well for them. It does mean that when those moments of success do happen, it'll be because of their hard work and their commitment, which leads to their confidence. And joyful. Learning improves with happiness. In order to learn, you have to feel comfortable and feel like you can be yourself. We are committed to maintaining a sense of joy as a critical aspect of our community, where every child is known. Knowing every child needs to be understood at many levels. Yes, we know about your child because of where their families are. We partner with you as parents to understand your context. But at the same time, a teacher assesses and finds many entry points into the learning experience on a daily basis. Not every child picks up information the same way, and our teachers are excellent at knowing your child and their own journey to their education. Now, what we decided to do for tonight was to ask our teachers what they thought of this work around the mission, values, and vision. We sat them down and simply asked them to respond to the one-page document that's in front of you. The responses were remarkable. So let's watch a short video that first talks about what the teachers are thinking about when it comes to the mission.
I'm very glad we came together as a Greenvale community to put our mission, values, and vision together as a tangible piece of paper, because I can share with colleagues, friends, families, exactly why I came to Greenvale to be a teacher.
Having this in writing focuses our energy and inspires the work we do here every day.
Even though this is something that we've always done here at Greenvale, we now have it written on paper, and this is something that we will live by and use moving forward.
The mission is an exceptional representation of everything that's important to the teachers, to the learners, basically anybody who is in attendance at Greenvale, including parents, administrators, faculty, and staff.
When I saw the mission statement, I was actually really excited because it actually appears to be the cornerstone of everything that we do on a daily basis at the Greenvale School. It's everything we achieve and everything that we want to do.
The mission statement says that we inspire and challenge our students to be their best, and we do.
So as our mission is making sure that we have a joyful community where each child is known. That is incredibly important to me in my classroom, in my practice, and in the way I collaborate with my peers.
When a child is known like this, they are willing to take risks. And we as educators can push them and challenge them and prepare them for the world ahead.
It is rare today that we can work in an environment where we really do get to know each child and we are encouraged to meet them where they are and to get them to grow academically, socially, and emotionally.
All of this together supports the idea of cultivating intellect. It's so critical that Greenvale did this is because the mission, the values, the vision, it's setting the soil, it's setting the tone for the school to carry on their traditions, but also bridge the traditions with the new in order for the school to propel forward and prepare children for an ever-changing world.
It's a really important part of continuing forward as a place that fosters excellence and intellectual curiosity and also joy.
Connected to the mission are the school's values that really shape the culture. So I'm going to ask Narinder to come up here and talk to you a little bit about the different values. But before I do that, I want to say one other thing. I've charged Narinder with overseeing the implementation of this entire strategic plan. What this means is she will not only ensure that we complete all the tasks, but also make sure that everyone is involved and has a voice in the process. There's no better person for the job, and I know you're going to get that feeling after you hear from her right now. So please, coming up, Narinder.
Thank you. So if you'd like, you can follow along on the one-pager because the details of each of the values are outlined on the one page, but not up here on the screen. Okay. So our values serve as essential principles for the school. Their purpose is to shape the school's culture and clearly define how everyone can work together to successfully carry out our mission and to achieve our vision. Our values apply to all members of the school community, and they will guide school decisions, policies, and actions going forward. A great deal of thought and consideration went into selecting these values of community, character, respect, reflection, and resourcefulness. And an easy way to remember them is to remember that the first two start with C and the last three start with R. So I think of CCRR when I think of our values now. So the school strategic design team examined the data from the Powerful Learning Survey that was administered last fall. That survey included input from students, from parents, from faculty and staff and alumni, and they studied the school's current values to arrive at these. So with all of this input and research, we reached the conclusion that these were the right values to help us fulfill our mission and successfully achieve the vision. The values of community, character, and respect will serve to foster a culture of connection and belonging. Reflection and resourcefulness, which include critical thinking and intellectual curiosity, will keep us centered on academic excellence. So during our our August faculty meetings, we discussed the importance of modeling and teaching these values to the students, as well as the importance of parents discussing and modeling them at home. So now let's learn more from our teachers about Greenvale's values.
Sometimes when we look at these values, we see them being for our older students, but really these values target students of all ages and all the wonderful work we can do for them.
Community is absolutely important at the Greenvale School, and we see it at every level, whether it's in the morning when advisories meet to talk about their day, to the faculty room where the teachers are actually having conversations about students and their lessons, to the administration when we're having conversations of the plans for the school. We see it on the level of alumni as they're coming back.
Belonging to a community where you try and do better really is a rarity and a gift for our children here at Greenvale. there is a strong, focus on academics, but there's also this sense of belonging to a community and an expectation of developing true character so that they are excellent citizens in this community and will be in the community of the world that they graduate into.
As teachers, we can celebrate their victories, we can support their failures, and we can be there for them to keep motivating them to have fortitude and grit.
When it comes to the value of respect, what jumps out at me is the word perspective. We're thinking about how does this person feel in this moment, and we are also going the extra step of being able to try to put on that feeling ourselves. And that really helps us understand each other's perspectives and come to be able to respect one another with more understanding.
One of the things that respect especially does is allow each individual to express respect in many different ways, all through the use of empathy.
Personally, and as an educator, respect is an incredible value to have and to hold and to teach our children. And knowing that, we have children from all walks of life, from different backgrounds, and having educators that have different perspectives, it's really important that we're, getting to know one another and making sure that we are elevating our voices.
So when we show respect, it means that we're listening to each other. We're taking opportunities to really be, just a listener and make sure that we are not always the person giving, we're also taking as well. And in our interactions, we're understanding that sometimes to be respectful might mean that we don't agree, but we're able to approach each other with a little bit of understanding.
For me, in the values, I think reflection really resonates with my classroom and what we do on a day-to-day basis. It's really important that we take that time to pause and be still and think about what exactly we want to take out of the information we're learning and how we can also develop our critical thinking skills to sort of better challenge ourselves in our writing, in the way we deliver speeches, in our creative writing even.
Reflection involves starting with oneself, to reflect on one's thinking, to reflect on one's emotions, perceptions, beliefs, connects to the other values.
For me as a teacher, reflection is really important because if I don't reflect on what I'm doing, then there's really no time for me to improve and to make sure I'm meeting the needs of my students, making sure that each individual student is getting what they need.
In particular, when it comes to the values, the aspect that jumps off the paper most at me is the value of resourcefulness.
So my hopes and dreams for my classroom this year is to really make sure that I promote a positive self-image of each of my students, a classroom environment that supports risk-taking and collaboration.
We actually have begun to focus a little bit more on important topics such as self-awareness, self-management, decision-making, social awareness, all things that are very important for a student to learn as they grow.
So many children are just used to finding the answer quickly or being given the answer. But at Greenvale, we really value giving kids the tools that allow them to find answers in creative, clever ways that may not be traditional. Giving them the tools to be resourceful is critical in their future development.
Okay, thank you, Narinder. The third part of the equation that has yet to be shown to the entire community, but you have in your hands, is our vision. Let's start by hearing from Jeff Bisconi, who you may remember starring in the film this summer about mission and values, who's going to tell us a little bit from the board perspective what is happening with the nature of vision.
All right, thanks, Jesse. And I won't be offended if you've forgotten my role. It's not an overly memorable performance, but it's great to be all here together and together again. And it's wonderful to see so many new faces in the room as well. Just by way of quick introduction, I've been a member of the Board of Trustees for about 7 years. I currently serve as treasurer. I have 4 boys at the school. I have an 8th grader, a 5th grader, and twin 1st graders. So look, the school has operated for 100 years. It's operated through wars and pandemics. There are times when I wonder if it will make it through the Moscone years. We will see. But suffice it to say, with 4 children here and having served on the board for a period of time, Greenvale is incredibly important to me. And it plays an incredibly important role in the life of my family as well. And tonight, I really have the opportunity to speak on behalf of an amazing group of people that worked on this plan over the last year. I had the honor of co-chairing the group along with Narinder, but it was really a dedicated group that included fellow trustees, teachers, administrators, parents, a truly interdisciplinary group of people who came together really over the course of a year to put all of this together. And so tonight I'm really speaking on behalf of that amazing group of people. So what I'm going to do very briefly here is talk a little bit about what the vision statement is, what role it plays, and then I'll just say a few words about our vision that we drafted as part of the process. So what is a vision statement? So it really is a forward-looking view of where we're headed as a school, as simply as I can say it. It's who we want to be. It's what we want to deliver. It describes the impact that we want to have in the future. It also will be an important tool for us for decision making. It's a way for us to check our decisions. Right? Are the decisions that we're making aligned to the vision that we're setting forth here tonight? It's important to look at the mission, the values, and the vision together as a unit. So Jesse talked about the mission. That's what we do every day. Narinder talked about the values. That's who we are. And now we're talking about the vision. This is where we want to go. Okay? So that's what a vision statement is. I just want to now provide a little bit of background, a little bit of the thinking that went into our vision statement. And I want to impart three principal concepts. The first thing that was really important to us was to center the vision on the core activities that happen at the school, namely teaching and learning. And there's a view that actually those two things, teaching and learning, are inextricably linked. So what does that mean? You need great students and great teachers to deliver great learning outcomes. So let's invest in both sides of the equation. Let's invest in both our students and our teachers. Okay, so that's the first principle. Hopefully you'll see in our vision. The second thing that was important to us was that the vision is aspirational. It conveys a state that we haven't yet attained or realized as a school. And I'm looking at John Koski here, who was part of the team. Every meeting he would say, Jeff, is this bold enough? Yeah. And we wanted this to be bold enough so as to inspire action and energize the community. So that's the second piece of this. We wanted this to be aspirational. And then the last piece is we wanted this to be durable. Okay. We wanted this to stand the test of time. So as the community changes, as the external environment changes, as the student body changes, perhaps as the administration changes, we wanted our vision to continue to have relevance with the community. Okay. And I hope you'll see in the vision an underlying concept that the work of becoming a model of educational excellence. So to pick up a little bit on some of the language you'll see in the vision, the work of becoming a model of educational excellence is never done. It's a continuous process. It's a relentless evaluation of what we do, how we do it, and why we do it. So in that sense, we hope that our vision will stand the test of time, or at least make it to the next strategic planning process 7 or 8 years from now. So thanks for listening. Thank you so much for your engagement, and thank you for being here. And I'm now going to turn it, Jesse, to you.
Yep. Greenvale will be a model for pre-nursery through 8th grade educational excellence, inspiring graduates to put ideas into action for the greater good. We will create a culture of continuous learning led by faculty and marked by a commitment to research, learning, design, and diverse perspectives. That is our vision. The vision builds off who we are in bold ways. We understand that our most critical asset is our teachers. So we're focused on creating the right conditions and culture to allow them to thrive. We will encourage a research mindset as a common practice to allow us to make appropriate adjustments over time. We see that educational excellence must be connected to character development. So notions of how we support the greater good are critical. We want to be a leader in this area. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to ask Narinder to unpack the vision for us, as well as spend some time telling you how we're going to initially execute this vision.
Okay. So before I discuss the vision, I'm going to take you back in time and share the experiences that have brought me to Greenvale to meet this moment. So I've been fortunate to have worked in excellent schools throughout my career, from a high-functioning public school in Toronto, so yes, I'm Canadian, where I taught elementary school for 10 years, to well-established independent schools, both in New York and in Florida. I've held leadership positions at the school at Columbia, which is an innovative K-8 school that was created by Columbia University back in 2003, and at the Pinecrest School in Florida, which is one of the largest independent schools in the country. I joined the school at Columbia in its second year of existence and helped to shape the school's culture and design its curriculum. We created a school that in many ways was ahead of its time, with an emphasis on new technologies, a social emotional learning curriculum, and interdisciplinary thinking. So my time at Pinecrest was similarly spent also on enhancing the school's already very strong academic program with future-ready skills. So through all of these experiences, I've become really passionate about three things: developing the best possible educational program for today's learners, fostering belonging for all community members, and creating a culture that empowers students and faculty to do their very best work. So when Jesse hired me 5 years ago to provide oversight for Greenvale's educational program, it really was an opportunity to both share my expertise and to learn from equally dedicated and skillful educators. And ever since, I've been studying the GVS culture, learning about what students, teachers, and parents value about the school, discovering how we define teaching, learning, and building community, identifying opportunities for growth, and implementing purposeful, incremental enhancements in authentic ways. So I'm thrilled to no longer be the chair of the COVID task force. And I'm excited to turn my attention towards our strategic plan, which brings me back to our new vision. So let's explore the essential ideas of our vision statement. To be a model of educational excellence. For us, this means that we have an unwavering commitment to creating optimal conditions for student learning. It also means that we aspire to be a school that studies and implements the best-in-class learning experience for every student. And finally, we want to codify and share our ideas with other educators, and we want to serve as a model for our peers. To put ideas into action for the greater good. We want our students to be ethical leaders who make purposeful contributions to their communities. Developing their global competence and civic engagement skills through service learning will help them put ideas into action for the greater good. We will create a culture of continuous learning. We will build upon our thought leadership by creating more opportunities for teachers to deepen their expertise through research and collaboration. And through our commitment to diverse perspectives, we will expand our students' worldviews. We will cultivate a deep sense of belonging. And we will commit to a culture of respectful discourse and deepen our students' cultural competence skills. So ultimately, this vision is really about enhancing our strengths. We are an exceptional school, after all, and testing our assumptions about teaching and learning so that what we believe is an exceptional education for today continues to be relevant for the future. So now let's check out how the new vision inspires our faculty.
As far as the vision, it really shows the dedication that the school has to academic excellence and helping out the teachers, helping them grow and making sure that they're doing what they need to do.
When I look at the vision, I'm so excited for not only our older students, but students that come all before, as they have so many years to do such wonderful things for the greater good of society.
Within the vision, something that really speaks to me is the idea of continuous learning, both what we're setting up for our students, but also that the faculty are invested in as they continue on their career journey at this school.
When I look at the vision as just an employee here at Greenvale, what really jumps out at me is the emphasis on continuous learning. And so I feel just truly supported. I feel that I can go out and I can learn new things in my field, in music and in theater, and always be up to date on the best practices because they put it right there in the mission that they want us to be continually learning, not only just the students, but the teachers as well.
We are given the opportunity to hone our skills as educators that are entering, 2023. Our children are going into a world that we didn't grow up in. The beauty of this document, putting our mission, values, and vision together, is really all about forward thinking. We are going to use all of those techniques and attention to detail and focus to prepare these children for the future that lies ahead of them so that they are a well-developed student, they are academically prepared, they are socially and emotionally ready for challenges, problem solving, resiliency, all the things that they will experience when they graduate and leave the Greenvale community.
And I think that when we put things in paper, when we showcase them, when we read them, when we reflect on them, I think it gives us that sense of confidence and that sense of accountability that this is the work that we're committed to doing.
We're looking at the past 100 years, and we've created something to help us look at the next 100 years.
There we go. Thank you. All right. So how will we realize our vision? We have chosen 4 strategic priorities to accomplish it. And they are learning, teaching, community, and leadership operations and resources. Each priority has its own set of goals and deliverables, which we will accomplish over time. And tonight, I'm going to share an overview of just the 4 strategic priorities. So let's begin with learning. Our priority is to define and strengthen our approach to learning and ensure that we continue to promote academic excellence, educate the whole child, and develop the skills, knowledge, and habits of mind that are needed to thrive. Defining and strengthening our approach to learning is at the core of this priority. To do this, we will study future-ready skills, review our learning principles, and consider new approaches to curriculum design. To support this priority, we have already implemented the following changes for this year. The addition of a full-time school psychologist to support student wellness, the addition of a production studio teacher, who's already helped me out twice tonight, and responsive classroom training for lower school teachers to enhance social and emotional learning. As we consider the future of learning, we'll study new ways for students to have increased ownership of their learning. And this could lead to some really exciting new projects. Now, these are just my ideas. Of course, we're going to collaborate with the teachers and see what they come up with because they are incredibly creative educators. But here's what this could look like. Perhaps an integrated project day where students choose their own topics to study in depth with the goal of honoring their curiosity, giving them an opportunity to really study something of their choice. Or use of the production studio to create community news shows or student documentaries, or the teaching of design thinking, which is a teaching method that's created by the Stanford D School, and is designed to help students design compassionate solutions to community problems. And so for me, that really speaks to our character education and asking students to design with compassion in mind for a particular user. Or perhaps we want students to lead a parent-teacher conference where they share their learning goals, progress, and portfolios. These are just a few compelling possibilities to explore as we consider new approaches to learning and giving students ownership of that learning. Our second priority focuses on teaching. To realize our vision, we will build a culture that catalyzes adult learning, research, collaboration, and learning design in support of student-centered education and our outstanding teachers. Supporting teacher growth is critical to being a model of educational excellence. We know that effective teachers engage in critical inquiry and thoughtful reflection to maximize student learning. And through this priority, we want to expand teachers' opportunities to deepen their expertise. So this year, teachers are already participating in a series of workshops with Homa Tavangar, who is an expert on teaching global competence. Over time, we'll expand the ways in which teachers can learn from each other. Some of these methods may include teacher shares, what's called lab classrooms, teaching rounds, perhaps for those physicians in the audience, those are similar to medical rounds where we can visit classrooms and learn from one another's expertise, and the use of professional protocols for studying student work. Our third priority focuses on community. We will continue to cultivate a diverse community where members feel an enduring sense of belonging, share our vision, and embody our values. If COVID has taught us one important lesson, it is that this community wants to be together. This work will help us do this. But how do we pay attention to this to make sure it has purpose and meaning? One way is to understand what community means to us. In Christine Porath's book, Mastering Community, she notes that Desmond Tutu said, "One of the sayings in our country is Ubuntu, the essence of being human." Ubuntu speaks particularly to the fact that you can't exist as a human being in isolation. It speaks about our interconnectedness. Being together is critical to being human. Connection improves us and is an essential component of community. Creating Ubuntu means that we enter into this community as our full selves and feel connected to the school. By prioritizing community, we will think about the ways in which we include parents and how we can plan events that promote belonging for all families. Within enrollment processes, we want to consider how we will promote alignment of GVS mission, values, and vision with new families. And we will continue to study our approach to communications and its role in building community. We've already, again, implemented some changes this year to support this priority. We've had some successful campus playdates before school started. These were by grade level and took place over on the playgrounds. And it was an opportunity for new families to get to know current families. And after adjusting the timing and frequency of communications, this year's family picnic was hugely successful with an attendance of over 600 individuals. So both of these events took place on campus, and this is really good data for us as we study community belonging and consider using the campus more frequently as a comfortable community gathering place. So our fourth and final priority is leadership, operations, and resources. We will ensure that Greenvale has the appropriate resources and expertise across all functional areas to advance the above priorities over the short and long term. So now I'm going to turn it back to Jesse to share more about this priority.
Thank you. So, leadership and operations. Teaching improves through sharp leadership, and that includes timely feedback, clear expectations, and empathy. I want to ensure that my leadership team has the capacity to do this. In fact, this is the exact research that I did in my doctorate degree in educational leadership. What we will do is a review of leadership that requires a measured approach and considered communication. Our goal is to create efficiencies and to ensure that our focus is correct. For example, how much time does a division director actually spend in a given day talking about teaching and learning? And what conditions can we change to ensure that that happens? In the end, these four priorities are going to be the drivers for the understanding of our vision. I'm going to let Narinder have a quick conclusion, then I'm going to have a quick conclusion, and then we're going to have questions and answers.
All right. So with a clear vision and priorities for the future, I am really excited to get this work underway. This is the kind of work that excites me. And I especially love working with the faculty. So it's going to be really terrific. We've already created faculty and administrative committees to work on our priorities. We've already actually met twice since the start of school. And I'm really looking forward to sharing our progress with you in the weeks and the months ahead. All right, Jesse. Thank you.
And I'll say quickly, the best endures. We have a long history of being a great school. Notions of being the best have always been important, and it's come always from the teacher-student connection. What has been a critical aspect of this community is that we know every child. That will always remain true. As we progress through our strategic plan, what it means to know every child has evolved. It's become more expansive, more inclusive, wider, and really better. It's our 100th year, and we're proud of who we are and all that we've accomplished. Our history is rich with excellence in the classroom. Our new mission and values embody so much of who we are, and our vision really helps us to aspire for more. We want to make this place even better. So, as my grandfather said at all three of my weddings, I have two brothers, sorry, I didn't mention that. That came out really wrong. Thank God Rebecca's not here. Oh, Jesus. As my grandfather said at my wedding, and a few other weddings that weren't mine, the best is yet to come. Thank you. Now it's time to ask questions. Any questions that you might have about anything that you just heard? Yes.
So how are you going to implement all of these ones that you know that you're saying? And I know that how are they going to have more classes or teachers doing this or outsourcing or active support?
Yeah. So how are we going to do everyone? I don't know if everyone heard this. How are you actually going to do this? This is a 5-year plan. And we are really thinking hard about making sure that the implementation goes at a steady and authentic pace. And if we don't get it all done in 5 years, it'll take 6 years. And one of the things that we have to talk about, for example, is time. We can't simply just add more. We have to think about what we're doing and how we're using our time to be able to say, what is the best use of time to ensure that we get to it. And frankly, there are aspects of our aspiration that already exist, and some of it is connecting it all together so that people can see how it all connects to the enterprise.
My daughter, is in fourth grade.
Yeah.
She's not necessarily seeing these changes that have been.
So this year's school is seeing changes. Every year there are changes, but change always has to be incremental. And so really, and because the same book that Narinder mentioned, for us, book, one of her phrases about that she says, "Boys start small," and you start small to make sure that you have the right success and that it's authentic growth, and so that it isn't just a shiny new object that people then forget about a few years later. So really, it's about an authentic pace of change. Yes.
Yeah, so I guess one of the questions would be is obviously there's time constraints and resource constraints at the school, but how can you also better leverage, right, the community?
Yeah.
Like how can we be better collaborators with STEM, right? The other time,
Yeah.
the children have sort of like, so that's the piece for me that's something little.
Yeah.
But to be more of a collaborator in terms of what we can do to reinforce and drive that as well.
That is a great question, and we deeply believe that your partnership is a critical part of this. And we will be reaching out for feedback and for participation as we develop this. So we're gonna be thinking about things like what is future learning, what is future ready. We're gonna want to test assumptions that we're making with you. So there's gonna be a lot of opportunity for feedback and participation that is still to be developed.
I would just, add Jesse, if it's okay. We talked about that culture of continuous learning in the vision statement, and one of the ideas we talked a lot about in our committees we were developing it was, parents are part of that. And we talked about, how do we create opportunities for parents to be continuous learners, enrichment opportunities on campus for all of us to learn more about, what our children are going through, at the school and how we can be more supportive and smarter about it. I think that could be a piece as well.
Yes.
Are there concrete ways that
I'm sorry.
I was wondering if there are concrete ways by which you measure the progress.
Yeah. Yes. So actually, kind of as we're developing this, we're saying, how are we going to measure it? So like that is a critical part of this. That we can say, and just as an example, Narinder and I are already in conversation about how we even measure in a concrete way the efficacy of the new mission statement. But what are the ways that we can, over time, see what is resonating and not, and learn from that data from parents and kids to some extent. So we absolutely want it to be about measurement, so that we can ensure that what we're doing is actually worth doing. The last thing we want to do is make a lot of changes that actually make it worse, right? So we want to ensure that we have the right things in place to test those assumptions.
So are you saying that it's mostly being feedback?
No, I mean, so I'm using that as an example, but certainly, there's going to be multiple forms of data that we can collect from student experience to test results to parent perception, to teacher perception. So there will be quantitative and qualitative data collected and measured.
I would just say, there's measurement of the impact of the plan, which is what Jesse's talking about. How do we create metrics to ensure that we're actually having an impact in the areas that we want to have an impact in? And then at the board level, we're creating routines to ensure actually that, Jesse and Narinder and the team are actually implementing the plan effectively. So we will have governance around implementation of the overall plan to ensure that we're making progress. In fact, we have a retreat this Saturday to spend the full day basically around the implementation strategy for this.
It's a great location, right here. Retreat.
I would just add to that as well that the division directors will have a large role in metrics as well. When we think about the kinds of levels of critical discourse that teachers are having about their practice, that is where division directors come in on those grade level meetings. And so we can also reach out to them to give us feedback on what's shifting or what are you hearing in terms of how teachers are talking about teaching and learning as we
Yes.
So just out of curiosity, how do we balance the things that have made Greenville great, right, and the reasons why we all kids here, with some of these new initiatives without detracting from those great points?
Carefully. and really, I hope what you heard tonight was a deep respect for who we are and what we have been. And in a lot of ways, some of the challenge of the work is we are not talking about starting over. We're not talking about that there's a need for something massively new immediately. Instead, we're talking about incremental change to make things that are good and even better.
I would add on to that as well, Harold, that we've created these amazing new spaces in the school over the last couple of years. The Innovation Lab, the Wonder Lab, the Marine Science Room, and we've integrated those into curriculum in very mindful ways. So there are curricular connections that happen in class that then get built out in the Innovation Lab. And we measure that to see what were the outcomes for students in terms of their learning. I had a conversation with a student the other day and shared with me that within her history class, she really loved having a choice in terms of what she was going to study within the boundaries of that particular content area. And she shared that it motivated her to work even harder on that project because she got to choose within that content. And happens to be my daughter. But it was really great to hear how she was thinking about student choice and how teachers were thinking about it very carefully as well.
Just wanted to say congratulations. I did want to say that although I am very much motivated for excellence in education, two parts of the plan that hit our community respect. In this day and age where kids are bullied, ostracized,
Yes.
I would like to share some of my personal experiences. I don't know if that is appropriate, but that's from my heart. Like, I'm not an educator, I'm a mom of two kids, and this is my 8th year at school. So my kids, they go to a Unpacking in Switzerland, and they have the very diverse, like 10% from each nations. So, I mean, from my kids, I see them how happy they're there, and because their confidence, they got education at Greenville, and years and years from the very beginning, from their baby, and when they were here, they were very confident, and they make friends easily. And my daughter, she got the best award in English class. I bet her she's And also my son, he even has a fun club there. So I mean, they don't look like that when they're here because this is their, bubble. So they're protected. And we always see, okay, why the siblings fight each other, how it's doing at school. But once they are really moved out to another community, to another country, you see they shine. You see they shine in the other community. I mean, I really appreciate that. From them, I see how being well educated, well-rounded. I just realized that, So in the past 8 years that I am very, very grateful. And in the future, I believe we have a new 5 years strategy. We'll make it even better.
Can't believe you did it.
Oh, no, why are you like this? We will.
It goes fast.
What else?
Thank you for sharing that.
Yeah.
That was beautiful.
What else is on people's minds? Zero.
No, we heard it.
Just thank you for doing this, and it was good to hear the teachers' comments. I was wondering what some of the practical things are that we'll see in the next year to help attract and retain the best teachers.
Yeah. So what's great about having a very clear mission, values, and vision is that it allows a possible employee to have a very clear understanding of who we are and what we're about. And that alone is an incredible way to attract faculty. And in fact, this year, with all of our new faculty, we always have searches where we have 2 to 3 finalists. And in every single search, we got a first choice. And that was in part with the work that we already did. And so with that said, thinking about future teacher recruitment is a part of leadership and operations, and making sure that we are getting all of the right people in the building who have an understanding of us and what it means to work here, and are going to have that deep and utter commitment to the child. And there's a remarkable number of new teachers in the video that have immediately felt a connection to this place that I think says something. So kind of answering your question, to say that yes, we're aware of that and there's more to come, and we feel that we're already doing well with even what we have. Yes.
Sorry, I was just tell you, John, I was asked to join one of the committees in teaching and learning, and I would say it was this incredible safe space where there were teachers that were involved as well. And I was so moved with parents, teachers, and then board members. And the teachers were so honest and passionate and cared about their practice and what they did and what they wanted to do more of and how they wanted to collaborate more. But it was wonderful that they spoke with such passion and honesty in these meetings. And I can see with what's come out of it, that it's being reflected, even hearing the teachers in some of the videos, that 1 or 2 of them were on the committee with me, that they did feel heard, which was part of it. Like, we want to feel heard, and it looks like they are. And I would also just say to all of you on the project is that it moved so quickly on the committee I was on, and you guys have turned this around and wrapped it up and presented it to us, and that is a real accomplishment. It could have taken a lot longer and a lot of time wasted, but I'm really impressed. Really well managed.
A lot easier when you don't have to go COVID.
Yeah.
You
may also want to just talk a little bit about the review of sort of professional development opportunities for faculty that you're going to undertake.
Sure. There's we certainly have professional opportunities for teachers, and we are planning on expanding those opportunities. We really do want teachers to be able to dive into their own expertise and give them the time to do that, because it does keep them motivated, it keeps them engaged, and it keeps them growing and learning, so that they too are bringing new strategies and new ideas into their classrooms. So
a reflective practitioner. If you are a reflective practitioner as a teacher, then you have reached the highest competency level as a professional. It's really about giving teachers time to think about their approaches, think about their curriculum, and consider setting their own goals in order to improve their practice. And our teachers they're learners, and this is the work that they wanted to do, and that will have more time to be able to do. So it is a critical part of our plan. We look at take a deeper dive into our goals and deliverables. We are thinking about retention, and we are thinking about ways that we can keep our incredible teachers engaged. And you do look at some of the research around what keeps teachers at schools, it is that professional growth and that opportunity to collaborate with colleagues that keeps them in their
Can I just, this is more of it relates to teacher retention, and I can't seem to fill out the survey for back to school, right? So I'm going to give you some orally, but it's related. I was really impressed with the lower school back to school night because I love the fact that they brought the teachers down. And so one thing I think I hope they like this, the idea that we highlight them for their expertise and their knowledge, and so being able for them to kind of take a bow and to be in front of the parents and to have just more visibility. I liked it personally to kind of see people that my son talks about, but I also think it really kind of elevates their profile with parents. Like I'm hoping that as professionals they would appreciate that.
By the way, Sharon Crane, another instrumental member of this group, fellow trustee. This is such a great sized group. I mean, we can seriously go on plug. It's a very intimate conversation. So anything that's on their minds.
I'm actually going to have
Yeah.
to say thanks. Yeah, it's great to get the stories. So we agree. Outside of school. Yeah, it's just so well brought out. It's great to just have a full
One more, and then what we'll do is get some wine.
Oh, no, actually, from a sharing standpoint, and I mean, I actually do that for years already. I was sharing a story when I was coming in with my family, well, brother and family, and my kids, when we were talking about essentially moving, the first question I had mouth was, do we have to change school? And I said, okay, now I know I can keep them here because that was what their concern was, and they were having such a great experience here. I have fun every time I'm with the sports in the local area, and I have to explain to parents that I live in a great school district, but I don't use it, and it makes me feel better that they said that. So that way, I'm excited about the continual, let's say, support.
Well, we'll be asking for your feedback even from this evening, and hear from you about what would be helpful to learn, what other pieces of this you might want to learn more about as we really get into the execution of it at the beginning of the year and throughout this year. And I'll end with this. I hope that you leave the power and the energy that the mission values vision can give to the school. And I hope that you can see that there are people here who are deeply dedicated to making sure that happens. And as I said at the beginning, I'll say again, it's consequential because really it is about what is great for your child. And to have a plan that is so focused on a child is something that you don't always see in schools. You can hear about children in a plan, but then you'll hear about the building that goes with it. Here, this is the child. And it comes with a deep understanding of learning so that we can focus on what is a teacher by building community and having the right leadership. And so
those are our priorities. So there's really good wine outside. Continue and thank you.